Maria sat in her wheelchair at the edge of her small front yard. The morning sun touched her face, and a gentle breeze rustled the leaves of the flowers she had carefully planted over the past few months. Her garden was a mix of bright colors: yellow daisies, red tulips, and soft purple lavender. It was her pride and her safe place, a space she could call entirely her own. She adjusted the blanket over her legs and smiled as a small bird landed on the railing of her porch. For a moment, everything felt peaceful. Then, Maria noticed a black SUV turning into the street. She frowned as the vehicle slowed and pulled up in front of her house. Two men in uniform stepped out. Her heart skipped a beat. "Good morning," one of the officers said, walking toward her. But his smile did not reach his eyes. "We received some complaints about your yard." Maria blinked, confused. Complaints. She had always followed the neighborhood rules. She kept her yard neat, and nothing in it ever blocked sidewalks or paths. Complaints. "About what?" she asked gently. The officer shifted, looking slightly uncomfortable. "Some neighbors said there were violations," he replied. "We just need to check." Maria's brother, Sam, was sitting at the kitchen table, reading the newspaper. He had seen the officers approach and now felt a knot tighten in his chest. He quickly got up and peered out the window. "This is not right," he muttered to himself. He could see that the officers were not here because of real danger. They were here because someone wanted to create trouble. And Sam knew exactly who. The officers began walking toward Maria, their steps deliberate. She tried to stay calm, remembering the advice she had been given about interacting with law enforcement. "I don't understand," she said again. "My yard is clean, and I have not blocked anything. I am following the rules." One officer glanced at his notes but did not respond immediately. "We need to measure the space. We need to make sure the walkway is clear," he said finally. Maria's frustration grew. "I am in a wheelchair. The walkway is clear. This is the only way I can move outside. I am not causing any problem." Sam could no longer just watch from the window. He opened the door and stepped outside, raising his hand slightly in a calming gesture. "Officer, she is not violating anything. Can we check this properly before taking any action?" The officer's expressions hardened slightly. "We have to follow the complaints. That is our job," one said. Sam's jaw tightened. "Are you serious? You came all the way here for a complaint about flowers in her garden? She is disabled and cannot move her plants anywhere else." Maria felt a wave of fear. She had never been confronted like this before. Her heart pounded, but she tried to keep her voice steady. "Please, can you just leave? I am not doing anything wrong. I just want to enjoy my home." Sam, seeing the tension rising, pulled out his phone. "I am calling my brothers," he said. "They will be here soon. You will want to think carefully about what you are doing." Maria's eyes widened. Her twin brothers, Leo and Ben, were both Navy SEALs. Strong, disciplined, and highly trained, they were known for handling difficult situations with precision. Just the thought of them arriving made the officers pause for a moment. "Call them if you want," one officer said, looking slightly annoyed. "We are just doing our job." Maria watched as Sam dialed the number. "Leo, Ben, we have a problem. Maria is being harassed by the HOA. Two officers are here, and they are making things difficult. Please come quickly." Within minutes, Maria heard the sound of a vehicle approaching. Her heart lifted slightly. The black SUV's engine was powerful, and soon two figures emerged, walking with confidence and determination. Leo and Ben had arrived. The officers straightened as the twins approached. Leo, the older of the two by a few minutes, spoke first. His voice was calm but firm. "Step back. She is not breaking any law. Explain to us what is happening." The officers exchanged nervous glances. One of them muttered something about following orders, but neither seemed comfortable with the situation. Ben, standing beside Leo, looked directly at the HOA representative who had now appeared, carrying a clipboard. "Why are you filing complaints against a woman in a wheelchair who is following all the rules?" he asked. His tone was polite but carried authority. Maria felt her hands relax on the wheelchair handles. Seeing her brothers so confident made her feel safer. She had always admired their strength and courage, but now she realized how much it mattered in real life. The HOA representative, flustered by the twins' presence, tried to argue. "We are just enforcing the rules of the neighborhood. The sidewalk is a public area. She cannot block it." Leo stepped forward. "She is not blocking it. The walkway is clear. This complaint is unnecessary, and your intimidation tactics are unacceptable. You cannot harass someone for enjoying her own home." Maria's face softened with relief. She finally felt someone on her side who would stand up for her. The officers looked uncomfortable, realizing that the situation had escalated beyond a simple complaint. Ben added, "If there is any real issue, it can be addressed calmly. But threatening a disabled woman with legal action over her garden is not acceptable." The HOA representative opened his mouth to argue again, but he found no words. He realized that Maria's brothers were not ordinary people. They were disciplined, confident, and unafraid. He muttered something under his breath and turned to leave, clearly defeated for the moment. Maria watched as her brothers stood with her, forming a protective circle. She felt a warmth in her chest, a mixture of relief and pride. She had been afraid, but now she realized that family could create a shield stronger than anything else. Sam placed a hand on Maria's shoulder. "It is okay now. They are here, and you are safe." Maria smiled, tears welling up slightly in her eyes. "Thank you," she said softly. "I did not know what to do." Leo smiled gently. "That is what family is for," he said. "We will make sure nothing like this happens again." For the first time that morning, Maria felt a true sense of peace. The officers left quietly, and the HOA representative had disappeared from sight. She looked at her garden, the flowers seeming brighter and more vibrant than ever. The twins stayed a while, helping Maria adjust her plants and making sure her wheelchair could move freely without any obstacles. They even suggested small changes that would prevent future complaints, like adding clear markers along the walkway. Maria laughed lightly as they worked together. Her heart felt lighter. What had started as a day filled with fear had turned into a day of family, protection, and care. She realized that sometimes the most ordinary moments, like sitting in a garden, could become extraordinary when you had someone standing by your side. By the time Leo and Ben left, Maria felt ready to enjoy the rest of her day. She knew the HOA might try something again, but now she had the courage and support to face it. The garden was hers, and she would not allow anyone to take away her peace. Sitting back in her wheelchair, Maria took a deep breath. The sun was still shining, the flowers still swayed in the breeze, and she knew that no one could take her happiness from her. She was not alone, and that made all the difference. After the officers left, Maria felt a mix of relief and unease. She had survived the confrontation, but she knew the HOA would not stop easily. Their complaints had always been petty, but today they had escalated by involving law enforcement. Maria glanced at Sam, who was pacing nervously in the living room. "They will come back," Sam said, his voice low but firm. "You cannot trust them to leave this alone. We need to make sure this does not happen again." Maria nodded slowly. She was still shaken. "What can we do?" she asked. "I cannot move fast, and I do not want to cause more trouble." Sam sighed. He pulled out his phone and dialed a number. "I am calling Leo and Ben," he said. "They will know what to do. You do not have to face this alone." Maria watched as Sam's fingers moved quickly across the screen. Within minutes, she could hear the rumble of an engine outside. Two black SUVs pulled into the driveway, their tires crunching on the gravel. Her heart lifted as she recognized her brothers. Leo and Ben stepped out, moving with the calm confidence of men who had faced far greater challenges than a neighborhood dispute. Leo approached Maria first, his tall frame casting a shadow over the yard. "We heard what happened," he said softly. "Are you okay?" Maria nodded, a small smile appearing on her lips. "I am fine," she said. "They tried to make me move my wheelchair, but I stayed calm. I did not want to upset anyone." Ben came forward and knelt beside her, resting a hand on the arm of her wheelchair. "You did the right thing," he said. "But we cannot let them keep harassing you. We will make sure you are safe from now on." Sam explained what had happened, describing the HOA complaint and the police visit. Leo and Ben listened carefully, their expressions serious. They asked questions about the neighborhood, the officers' behavior, and Maria's daily routines. Every answer helped them plan how to protect her. "Do they know about you?" Ben asked. "Do the HOA people know that we are here?" Maria shook her head. "Not really. They did not know when the officers came. But I am sure they will figure it out soon." Leo nodded. "Then we need to make sure they understand one thing: you are not alone. They cannot intimidate you anymore. We will handle this properly." The twins spent the next hour walking around the yard with Maria, checking every inch of the garden and the walkway. They measured the space carefully, ensuring there was no way anyone could claim she was blocking the sidewalk. They even suggested small modifications, like adding markers along the edges of the path. "You see, Maria," Leo said, pointing to the walkway, "this clearly shows that you are following all rules. There is nothing they can complain about." Maria smiled. "Thank you. I would never have thought of that." Ben added, "It is always better to be prepared. If they try to cause trouble again, we will have proof that you are not doing anything wrong." Just as they finished, a neighbor appeared at the end of the street. Mr. Thompson, an older man who lived across the road, waved nervously. "Are you okay, Maria?" he asked. "I saw the officers earlier. It looked serious." Maria nodded. "I am fine, thanks to my brothers. They came to help me." Mr. Thompson glanced at Leo and Ben, then at Maria. "I am glad you have them. It is good to see family standing together." Leo smiled. "Family is everything," he said. "We just want to make sure she is safe." As the morning passed, the twins stayed nearby, watching the neighborhood for any sign of trouble. Maria felt a sense of relief she had never experienced before. Knowing her brothers were there made the world feel safer. She realized that the HOA's attempts to intimidate her could not succeed when she had people willing to stand by her. Around midday, the HOA representative drove slowly past Maria's house. He stopped briefly, glancing at her garden and then at the twins standing beside her. Maria noticed his expression change from smug confidence to cautious hesitation. He slowly drove away, clearly thinking twice about taking further action. "See," Ben said. "They are learning that you will not be intimidated. Sometimes, showing strength is enough to make people stop." Maria nodded, feeling a surge of pride. "It is strange," she said. "I was scared this morning, but now I feel stronger." Leo rested a hand on her shoulder. "Fear is normal," he said. "But courage is facing that fear, and you did that. Today, you showed more courage than most people." Sam smiled, his relief visible. "I am glad you are here, Leo. I could not handle this alone." Leo shook his head. "You did fine, Sam. You kept her safe until we arrived. That counts for a lot." The rest of the afternoon passed peacefully. Maria, Sam, Leo, and Ben worked together to tidy the garden further. The twins helped lift heavier pots and rearrange flower beads, while Maria supervised and shared her ideas. The small family team turned the yard into a bright, cheerful space, one that could not be criticized. As the sun began to lower in the sky, Maria looked around at her garden. Everything was perfect. The walkway was clear, the flowers were bright, and she felt a sense of safety she had never felt before. She turned to her brothers. "Thank you," she said again. "I do not know what I would have done without you." Leo smiled warmly. "You do not have to thank us. Family looks out for each other. That is what matters." Ben added, "And now, we have set things up so that if anyone tries to cause trouble again, we can handle it quickly. You are ready for anything." Maria laughed lightly. "I hope we do not have to test that," she said. The twins nodded, understanding the sentiment. But they were prepared for anything. The day had shown them that even small threats could feel frightening, but with planning, courage, and family support, no one could take away Maria's peace. As the evening approached, Maria felt a deep sense of gratitude. She realized that her life had changed in a small but important way. She was no longer alone in facing unfairness. She had her brothers, her family, and a community beginning to understand her strength. Sitting in her wheelchair, Maria looked at the flowers swaying in the gentle breeze. The fear she had felt in the morning had been replaced by hope and confidence. With her brothers by her side, she knew she could face anything. And in that moment, she understood that true protection was not just about stopping danger. It was about standing together, supporting one another, and knowing that family would always be there. The next morning, Maria woke early, enjoying the soft light of the sun on her face. The garden looked even more beautiful after the twins had helped her arrange the flowers the previous day. She took a deep breath, rolling slowly along the walkway, feeling the warmth of the sun and the fresh smell of lavender and tulips. Her peace, however, was short-lived. A car slowly drove down the street, stopping near the edge of her property. Maria noticed the familiar figure of the HOA representative stepping out. His face looked more serious than yesterday, and he carried the same clipboard. Maria felt a slight tightening in her chest, but she quickly reminded herself that she was not alone. Sam, Leo, and Ben were just inside the house, ready if anything went wrong. "Maria," Sam whispered, "it looks like they are trying again." The HOA representative approached cautiously. "We need to discuss your yard," he said, his voice firm but polite. "There have been complaints about violations of the neighborhood rules." Maria rolled forward slightly, keeping her voice calm. "I have already shown that my yard follows the rules," she said. "The walkway is clear, and everything is within the property boundaries." The representative frowned, glancing at the walkway. He seemed frustrated but continued. Some neighbors are concerned about the plants near the edge of the path. They say it makes the walkway narrower. Maria looked straight at him. The walkway is wide enough for me and anyone else to pass easily. I cannot move my garden for small complaints. I follow the rules, and I expect to be treated fairly. Before the conversation could continue, Sam stepped outside, standing beside his sister. This has gone far enough, he said firmly. You have no right to make her life difficult. The walkway is clear, and this is harassment. The HOA representative looked surprised. Harassment? I am just enforcing the rules, he replied. At that moment, the twins appeared in the driveway, walking with steady confidence. Leo's eyes were calm but sharp, and Ben's stance was protective. Maria felt her shoulders relax. With them there, she knew the situation had shifted. Leo spoke first, his voice low but firm. We have reviewed the yard. There are no violations. The walkway is clear. Your complaints are unnecessary and unfair. Ben added, if you continue to threaten or harass her, you could face legal consequences. She has every right to enjoy her home peacefully. The HOA representative's face tightened. He opened his mouth to argue, but the presence of the twins clearly made him hesitate. He looked at Maria, who met his gaze without fear. You need to leave, Leo said, taking a step closer. She is not breaking any law, and further complaints without reason are unacceptable. Maria watched as the representative muttered something under his breath. He glanced at the twins again and seemed to weigh his options. Clearly, he had expected to intimidate Maria easily, but he had not anticipated facing trained Navy SEALs who were determined to protect her. Ben spoke again. We are giving you a chance to step back. If you continue to harass her, we will take further action. You are responsible for ensuring she can live safely in her home. The representative's voice dropped slightly. I will follow up later, he said, before turning and walking back to his car. He paused briefly, looking at the twins, then drove away slowly. Maria felt a sense of relief wash over her. She had faced fear again, but this time she felt empowered. The twins stayed with her, guiding her wheelchair to the edge of the garden and checking that the path was completely clear. You see, Maria, Leo said, you have the right to enjoy your home. No one can take that away from you. Sometimes, people need to understand strength and fairness. Maria nodded. I was scared, but seeing you here makes me feel safe. I feel like I can finally face this without worrying. Sam smiled, relieved. They will not bother you again. We will make sure of that. The twins stayed with Maria for the rest of the day, keeping a watchful eye on the neighborhood. They also helped her make small improvements to her garden, adding clear markers along the walkway and trimming plants to prevent any misunderstanding. Maria worked alongside them, her heart lighter with every action. By midday, neighbors began to notice the scene. Mrs. Lane, who lived 2 houses down, stepped out onto her porch. I saw what happened earlier, she said quietly. I think it is good that your brothers are here. That HOA representative seems to be learning that he cannot bully you. Maria smiled. Thank you, Mrs. Lane. It is comforting to know people notice and support me. Leo added, it is always important to stand together. Sometimes, just showing unity is enough to stop unfairness. As the afternoon passed, Maria's confidence grew. She realized that she could face challenges without fear if she had support and courage. Her brothers had not just protected her, they had helped her see her own strength. Later, Maria decided to roll down the street slightly, greeting neighbors as she passed. Sam, Leo, and Ben followed closely behind. People waved and smiled, expressing encouragement and respect. Maria felt a sense of community she had not fully experienced before. When they returned to her yard, Maria looked at her garden, the flowers bright and vivid in the sunlight. She felt a sense of pride and calm. The confrontation had tested her courage, but she had remained steady, and her family had been there every step of the way. Leo knelt beside her wheelchair. "This is more than about flowers and pathways," he said. "It is about standing up for what is right. You did that, Maria. You did not let fear control you." Ben nodded. "And we will continue to support you. No one can take away your peace when you have family who cares." Maria smiled, feeling a deep sense of gratitude. She realized that her home was more than just a place to live, it was a place where she could feel safe, respected, and empowered. As the sun began to set, the sky painted with soft shades of orange and pink, Maria rolled to the edge of her garden and looked around. She felt a quiet strength she had not known before. The confrontation had ended, but it had taught her an important lesson: courage is not the absence of fear, it is facing fear with support and determination. Her brothers, standing beside her, symbolized that support. Maria knew that whatever challenges came next, she would not face them alone. Together, they had turned a moment of intimidation into a moment of empowerment. And in that peaceful evening, surrounded by her flowers and the people who truly cared for her, Maria felt ready to face the future with confidence and courage. The morning sun rose gently over the neighborhood, painting Maria's garden in shades of gold and green. Birds chirped softly, and the flowers she had nurtured swayed lightly in the breeze. For the first time in days, Maria felt calm. Her brothers had stayed with her through the recent tension, and now she felt ready to face the day with confidence. Sam, Leo, and Ben had already begun helping with small repairs around the yard. They adjusted the flower pots, cleaned the walkway, and added some bright markers to clearly separate the garden from the sidewalk. Each small task reminded Maria of the support surrounding her. "See," Leo said, kneeling by a row of tulips. "Everything is organized. The walkway is wide, and your garden is beautiful. No one can say you are breaking any rules." Maria smiled, her hands resting on her wheelchair handles. "Thank you. I feel stronger knowing you are here. I was scared before, but now I feel ready to stand my ground." Sam nodded. "Sometimes courage comes from having people who care around you. You are not alone, Maria. That makes all the difference." As they worked, a car slowly drove past the street. Maria's heart skipped a beat. The HOA representative was back. This time, he stepped out of the car more cautiously. He held his clipboard but looked unsure. Maria remained calm, taking a deep breath, while her brothers moved closer. "You need to stop," Sam said firmly, stepping slightly ahead of Maria. "She is not doing anything wrong, and you cannot intimidate her." The HOA representative adjusted his stance. "I am just checking again. Some neighbors are still concerned." Leo, standing tall beside Maria, spoke clearly and firmly. "Maria has followed every rule. There is nothing here to concern anyone. Your repeated complaints are harassment, and they must stop." Ben added, "We are giving you the opportunity to leave peacefully. If you continue, there will be consequences. You must respect her rights." Maria watched quietly as her brothers spoke with confidence. She felt a mix of pride and relief. Their calm but firm presence made it clear that intimidation would not work this time. The HOA representative looked at Maria, then back at her brothers. He seemed to struggle to find words. Finally, he muttered, I will follow up later, before walking quickly back to his car and leaving. Maria exhaled slowly, feeling tension leave her body. She had faced fear once again, but this time she had been ready. Her brothers had not only protected her, they had taught her the value of standing firm and asserting her rights. "Thank you," Maria said softly, looking at Leo and Ben. "I could not have done this without you." Leo smiled. "You did your part, Maria. You stayed calm and confident. We were here to support you. That is what family does." Ben added, "And now the neighborhood knows that she is not someone to be bullied. Sometimes courage is enough to set things right." Sam rolled his eyes playfully. "It is not every day that the HOA learns a lesson," he said. "But it is good to see them understand that you are not afraid." Maria laughed lightly. "I still cannot believe this is happening over my garden," she said. "It feels unfair, but I feel proud that I stood my ground." The twins spent the rest of the morning helping Maria organize her yard further. They added small signs that marked the edges of the walkway clearly. They moved pots to create a neat border, making it impossible for anyone to claim she was obstructing the path. Maria guided the placement of flowers, smiling as she watched everything take shape. By midday, neighbors began to notice. Mrs. Lane, who had watched the events unfold over the past 2 days, walked down her driveway. "Maria, I just wanted to say how impressed I am," she said. "You handled this situation with calm and courage. I have seen many people react with anger or fear, but you remained steady." Maria smiled at her neighbor. "Thank you, Mrs. Lane. It means a lot to have support from the community. I could not have done it alone." Leo added, "Standing together is important. Maria is not only protecting her home but also showing that fairness and calm can overcome intimidation." Ben nodded. "This is about more than flowers and walkways. It is about respect, courage, and standing firm in what is right." The HOA representative did not return that day, and Maria finally felt that her home was secure. She rolled slowly through her garden, enjoying the sun and the scent of the flowers. Every plant seemed brighter, every leaf more vivid. It was not just her garden, it was a symbol of her strength. Sam, Leo, and Ben stayed nearby, helping with small tasks and ensuring everything was in order. Maria realized how much she valued their presence. With them, she felt safe, empowered, and able to face any challenge that might come her way. As afternoon turned to evening, Maria's confidence grew. She had faced fear and intimidation and had emerged stronger. Her brothers had not only protected her physically but had also helped her realize her inner strength. She could now handle challenges with calm and courage, knowing that family support made a difference. By sunset, the yard looked perfect. The walkway was clear, the garden was vibrant, and Maria felt a deep sense of peace. She rolled slowly to the edge of her porch and looked out at the street. The neighborhood was quiet, and the sun cast long shadows across the gardens. She realized that the confrontation had been more than about rules or complaints, it had been about standing up for herself, protecting her home, and learning the power of courage. Leo knelt beside her wheelchair. "Today, you showed that courage is not the absence of fear. It is acting even when you are afraid. You did that, Maria." Ben smiled. "And we will continue to support you. No one can take away your safety or your peace while we are here." Maria felt tears welling up slightly. She had been frightened, but now she felt empowered. Her garden was not just a collection of flowers, it was a symbol of her strength, resilience, and independence. "Thank you," Maria said softly. "For everything." Leo and Ben exchanged a glance, then smiled. "You do not need to thank us," Leo said. "Family protects each other. That is all that matters." Sam grinned. "And now, anyone who tries to bother you will think twice," he said. Maria laughed, feeling the joy and relief of the day. Her brothers had turned a frightening situation into a lesson in courage, fairness, and family support. She realized that with their help, she could face any challenge. As the last light of the sun faded and evening settled over the neighborhood, Maria felt truly at peace. She had faced fear, stood her ground, and had the support of her family. Her home was safe, her garden was thriving, and her heart was full of confidence and courage. In that quiet evening, surrounded by her flowers and the people who cared for her, Maria understood an important truth: true strength comes not from avoiding challenges, but from facing them with courage, determination, and the support of those who love you. The morning sun warmed Maria's garden, painting the flowers in bright, cheerful colors. For the first time in days, she felt completely at peace. The HOA representative had not returned, and the neighborhood seemed calm. Maria took a deep breath, enjoying the gentle breeze and the soft sounds of birds singing around her. Her brothers, Leo and Ben, had stayed nearby the previous night, making sure everything was secure. Sam had also been there, helping her organize the garden and ensuring the walkway remained clear. Maria felt grateful for their support. Today, she would enjoy her home without fear. "Everything looks perfect," Leo said, adjusting a flower pot to make the garden more even. Maria smiled. "It really does. I never thought my garden could bring me so much peace after all this trouble." Ben nodded. "It is more than just a garden now. It is a symbol of your strength. You stood your ground, Maria. You showed courage, and everyone around you can see it." Sam laughed lightly. "And the HOA will think twice before trying to bother anyone here again." Maria rolled slowly along the walkway, touching the flowers gently. She realized that what had happened over the past few days had changed her. She had been frightened and intimidated, but she had faced it. With her brother's support, she had protected her home and her peace. "Do you think they will come back?" Maria asked, a small note of concern in her voice. Leo shook his head. "I doubt it. They know you are not someone to intimidate. And now the neighborhood knows it too. People will respect you and your home." Ben added, "Even if they tried, we are here to make sure nothing happens. You are not alone, Maria. You never will be again." Maria smiled, feeling warmth in her chest. Her home had become more than a safe space, it had become a place of strength and confidence. Later that morning, some neighbors came by to greet Maria and her brothers. Mrs. Lane brought a small basket of flowers, and Mr. Thompson came to say hello. Their support made Maria feel even more empowered. She realized that the community could be kind and helpful when people stood together. "Maria, you handled everything so well," Mrs. Lane said. "You stayed calm and brave. It is inspiring to see." Maria nodded. "Thank you. I had help, and that made a big difference. I hope my experience encourages others to stand up for themselves too." Leo and Ben exchanged a glance and smiled. They were proud of Maria for staying composed and confident. "You learned an important lesson," Leo said. "Courage is not about being fearless. It is about acting despite fear. And you did that every day." Ben added, "And now your home is safe. Your garden can grow, and you can enjoy it without worry. That is what really matters. Throughout the day, Maria and her brothers continued to work on the garden. They adjusted flower arrangements, trimmed bushes, and made small paths easier for her wheelchair. Sam helped with the heavier tasks, lifting pots and arranging furniture in the yard. Maria felt joy in every moment. She had turned fear into action, and now her home reflected that. As the afternoon sun warmed the neighborhood, Maria rolled to her porch and looked around. The garden was alive with colors and movement. The flowers swayed gently in the breeze, the walkway was clear, and her small yard had never looked more beautiful. She felt a deep sense of pride. "I feel like this garden is a part of me now," Maria said softly. "It is not just about the flowers. It is about courage and standing up for myself." Leo nodded. "Exactly. You made this space your own, and no one can take that away from you. That is what makes it special." Ben smiled. "And you have learned that support from family makes a huge difference. You are never alone when people care about you." Sam rolled his eyes playfully. "I guess we all make a good team. Who would have thought gardening could turn into such an adventure?" Maria laughed. "It has been an adventure. But a good one. I feel proud and strong. I never want to feel afraid in my own home again." As evening approached, Maria's brothers decided to stay a little longer to help her settle. They built a small, decorative fence along the edges of the garden, not to block anyone, but to mark her space clearly. The markers were bright and cheerful, matching the flowers and making the yard look welcoming and organized. "This will show everyone where the garden ends and the walkway begins," Leo explained. "No one can claim obstruction now. You are completely safe." Maria smiled, rolling along the newly marked path. "It looks wonderful. I feel completely free here." Ben added, "And that freedom is yours to keep. No one can take it away when you have the courage to stand your ground and the support of your family." The sun slowly set, casting long shadows across the neighborhood. Maria looked at her garden and felt a quiet joy. The flowers glowed in the golden light, and the gentle breeze carried the fresh scent of lavender and tulips. She realized that her home was more than just a house. It was a symbol of her strength, her courage, and the love of her family. Leo knelt beside her wheelchair. "You have shown that standing up for yourself is powerful. You faced fear and acted with calm and confidence. That is a lesson for everyone." Ben smiled. "And now your home is peaceful. Your garden is safe. And you can enjoy every moment without worry. That is what matters most." Maria felt tears of happiness in her eyes. She had been scared, intimidated, and frustrated, but now she felt empowered. Her family had protected her, supported her, and helped her realize her own strength. "Thank you," Maria said softly, her voice full of gratitude. "For everything." Leo smiled warmly. "You do not need to thank us. Family protects each other. That is what we do." Sam grinned. "And now, anyone who tries to bother you will think twice. You have shown courage and strength. That is something no one can take away." Maria laughed, feeling a lightness in her heart. The tension of the past few days had turned into a lesson in courage, love, and support. She had faced fear and come out stronger. Her garden was more than a place to sit and enjoy the sun, it was a symbol of her independence and determination. As night fell, Maria looked at her home and garden with satisfaction. She felt safe, happy, and proud. Her brothers had helped her protect what was important, and she knew that with their support, she could face any challenge. In the quiet evening, Surrounded by flowers, family, and the peace of her home, Maria felt complete. She had turned fear into courage, intimidation into strength, and her small garden into a place of freedom and pride. And in that moment, Maria understood something very important: true courage comes not from avoiding challenges, but from standing strong, trusting in yourself, and having the support of those who care for you. Her home was safe. Her garden was thriving. And her heart was full of peace, hope, and confidence for the future.